Hey there, everyone. I'm Ashley Billington, and welcome into the Campfire. This week, we will be breaking down a pretty tough district in 10-6A. Let's introduce you to the teams in that one in our film session presented by Cricket Wireless.
Don't blink when watching a 10-6A game this year, because I'm telling you, you're going to miss something, especially if you are at a Rockwall Heath game. The Hawks return one of the top offenses in the state, led by Indiana commit Josh Hoover at quarterback, along with receivers Jay Fair and running back Zach Evans. Heath went all the way to the regional final last year. This year, they won't be surprising anyone, as they are expected to make another long postseason run. If anyone has a chance of knocking them off in district play, it will be their longtime rival, Rockwall. Mississippi State commit Braden Locke returns as quarterback and will have plenty of weapons, including wideout Caden Marshall and 1,000-yard rusher Zach Hernandez. Yellow Jackets and Hawks go at it in the first week of district play, so get tickets early. Dallas Skyline always has athletes, and don't expect anything different this year. After getting their first playoff win since 2015 last year, running back Waylon Farrar should stand out on offense, while defensive back Anthony Davis will shut down his side of the field. Out of the Mesquite ISD teams, the Skeeters introduced new head coach DeMarcus Harris, who will have experience at the quarterback position in Chance Edwards. Horns missed the playoffs for the first time in 11 years and are hoping dual threat quarterback Darius White will help lead them back this year. North Mesquite has a shot at the playoffs if wide receiver Cordell Russell continues to give defensive coordinators fits as he did last year. Tyler Legacy is also in playoff contention, as they made the postseason for the first time in 11 years last season.
The film session is presented by Cricket Wireless. Smile, you're on Cricket.
Like I said, some really tough teams in District 10-6A, and they're full of phenomenal players. Let's see who a few of them are and our players on the rise.
Braden Locke, the district's MVP last year, is back for the Yellow Jackets. After throwing over 4,000 yards and 52 touchdowns as a sophomore, Locke followed it up with a 3,600-yard season and 40 touchdowns as a sophomore. He is not one to throw crucial picks either, as his touchdown-to-interception ratio is nearly 9-1. Expect more of the same as Locke enters his third season as the Rockwall starter before heading off to Mississippi State. While Locke was the overall MVP last season, Josh Hoover of Heath was the offensive MVP of the district. Hoover was slightly underrated going into last season, but showed off his skill by throwing almost 3,500 yards and 36 touchdowns. He has a combined 6,300 yards as the starter for the Hawks as he enters his third season behind center. Hoover will be heading to Indiana after his senior season comes to an end. The toughest wide receiver to defend in the district is Jay Fair at Rockwall Heath. In a high-flying Hawks offense, Fair caught 73 passes for 1,310 yards and 13 touchdowns. After playing his sophomore year at Saxe, Fair was a first-team all-district selection as a junior. Fair committed to Auburn, where he will bring the Tigers speed and elite route running. One of the best defensive linemen in the district is Davion Carter of North Mesquite. Carter is a dominant interior lineman and an imposing run stuffer at the defensive tackle position. He was second-team all-district as a sophomore, but stepped up to that first-team selection as a junior. Carter committed to play at Rice for his college ball.
Phenomenal players led by really great head coaches. We're going to bring in one of those coaches in our Media Day segment, as Mike Sprawlden of Rockwall Heath is on with us.
All right, it's Media Day 10-6A. We are here with Heath head coach Mike Spradlin. Coach, man, what an exciting year last year was. And I'm not just talking about making it all the way to the regional final. I'm talking about every game we went to that the Heath Hawks were playing was exciting, because the poor scoreboard operator up there is getting carpal tunnel trying to get them points up on the scoreboard. Talk about how excited you were last year, especially when you may have snuck up on some teams. Obviously not in your area. You knew exactly how good you're going to be, but in DFW, you kind of snuck up on some teams. You made all the way out to that great game against Cedar Hill at Globe Life.
Yeah, it was a special year. I've been fortunate to be a part of a couple of flips, turnarounds, whatever you want to call them. And at Cooper and at Temple, and we kind of exceeded maybe that second year expectation level. Our guys, it's funny. Belief and hope are two big things, and so you always go in with some hope. And then the key is to get them believing it. And at some point in the playoff run, I'm going to probably say the Temple game and then certainly the Brisbane game, our guys' hope turned into belief.
Excellent. Let's finish up by talking about the rest of the district here, especially Rockwall. I mean, when we get into district play in all the districts in DFW, the Heath Rockwall game is one circled on every high school fan's calendar.
Well, it always is special, right? I mean, I was a part of the Abilene High thing, and was AD down in Magnolia with the Magnolia Bowl, Magnolia West. The two high school systems are probably the most fun to be in and coach in, because it's a real natural rivalry. Everybody gets to choose up sides, and for 1 week, everybody gets to, hate on each other and, all those kind of things. They've beaten us the last couple, 2 or 3 years, and until we beat them, then they're going to get to continue to own those rights in the two high school town, so it'll be a big game, but it is the first district game.
That's awesome. And I can't wait to get it started. That's only a couple weeks away, so I appreciate you joining us, man. I can't wait to see some 10-6A action.
Yes, sir. We're looking forward to it. It'll be a good one.
Coach Broughton, thank you so much for joining us here on the Campfire. You can catch the entire interview with the Rockwall Heath head man on Thursday on our Media Day segment. We will be airing it on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Up next, we bring in the one, the only Professor Diggs for the district breakdown.
All right, district breakdown time, and I tell you what, Diggs, I've been waiting for these last two districts, probably for the whole time we've been doing this, but let's talk 10-6A right now. I'm going to throw two names out there, Rockwall and Heath, and go.
Talk about a rivalry, talk about playoff runs last year, talk about the intra-competitiveness. I was told I was being very disrespectful at the mouth last year when I asked at the Cedar Hill versus Rockwall Heath game where all the Rockwall fans are. I thought the district should support each other. They don't like each other very much in this district. Even when the playoffs come around, it's not friendly competition anymore. They have a lot of autonomy over there. It's two separate programs in the same ISD, but two separate programs that have probably two of the top three quarterbacks in the Metroplex. You got Josh Hoover at Rockwall Heath. This is a guy, I'll be honest, I hadn't heard of at the beginning of last season. And then at the end of last season, you can't quit hearing about him. His leadership skills, that run that Rockwall Heath had, really impressed me. And then Braden Locke. We've talked about him for a couple of years. I don't know how Ashley has been able to manage without getting to talk about Jigba Smith all the time. But, still we can talk about Braden Locke and talk about just two top-end quarterbacks.
Yeah, and I think week one, Rockwall has Cedar Hill. So they're definitely testing themselves right off the bat there. We'll both agree those are 1-2 up there, which however way they fall, whoever wins that game. What do you have for the rest of the district there, especially some of these Mesquite teams?
Yeah, you want to talk about Mesquite. I actually want to talk about Skyline. I think Skyline is kind of one of my dark horses. They've got some players that a lot of people aren't talking about, but very highly recruited on the Dallas Morning News Top 100. This is a team they're going to have the size, they're going to have the athleticism. Now they've got the top tier talent and playmaking capabilities that are going to be really, really hard to stop.
I appreciate you giving us that 10-6A knowledge. We wrap things up next week with 11-6A. That's another mega district. And I will talk to you next week.
See you next week.
Diggs, Wiz, we only have one show left. I can't believe it. Thank you for your insight. As always, that's all we have for this week's episode. Come back for our last episode where we break down the dreaded District of Doom. Until next time, I'm Ashley Bullington, and thank you for watching Campfire.